Hello, I'm gonna go back to what I normally do videos about, um, but I've done I've done a couple on Asperger's and a couple on depression and anxiety, and today I wanted to do one about ADD, which is attention deficit disorder. And kind of go through what it's like to have ADD, what my experiences with ADD have been like, and yeah, how I kind of deal with it as well. So with my ADD, it is what's called comorbid, which sounds a lot worse than it actually is. And it kind of coincides with the Asperger's. So, I mean, a lot of things that, sorry, I've just got like a list of things because I forget, which is probably because of my ADD. Yeah, it kind of coincides with the Asperger's, and they kind of play off each other, which can be a bit annoying and frustrating and make things a lot more difficult than they should be. So basically it takes a lot for me to get shit done, and I will often spend hours, days, weeks, months even preparing for something, and knowing full well that I need to do this thing, but I just can't bring myself to do it, and I don't know, it's like you've just got no motivation whatsoever. And keeping on top of things, especially now I'm an adult and I'm living independently and stuff like that, I've got my own bills to do, and just kind of general upkeep of the house and my daily life. And there's been a few times where I've genuinely forgotten to pay bills. I had a letter from the Sheffield Crown Court saying that I was due in court like a week before I'd opened the letter, because I also have trouble like keeping up to date with my letters and stuff like that, and kind of get this dread from opening letters. I don't know why. It's just because I don't really understand bills. It's just all numbers to me, and yeah, like I just don't get it. So stuff like that happens a lot, and it's just like I didn't even know that this was due, and then you start to panic, and yeah, it's just really frustrating. And when I kind of muster the motivation to do something, I'll often just get distracted and go into a different room and do something completely different and just forget completely what I've been doing. So like if I put some washing in the in the washing machine, and washing in the I can't fucking speak. Washing in the washing machine, way. Then I'll often sort of forget that it's in there. It'll have done the cycle, and then it'll stay in the washing machine for like a long time until it smells, and then you've got to redo that again, and then the flat smells like mouldy clothes, and then you've got to put it on the dry cycle, so it's expensive, it's time consuming, and it just takes the piss. There's a lot of things that are left unfinished, like things that I need to do, like daily routine stuff, and just stuff that you do to be an adult. And then I've got like I customized clothes and things like that, so there's so many like different jackets and items of clothing that I've started customizing or sewing stuff on and stuff like that, and then they've just got left, and like there's half of a patch hanging off, or another thing that I struggle with, and one of the worst things I struggle with, is forgetting things, particularly dates and events and stuff like that. And like people's birthdays and, you know, important things that I need to do, even if I write it down, even if I set reminders, like if I completely forget that that is happening, it doesn't matter about the reminders, I'll just keep getting distracted and I'll end up missing it. And you know, that's got me into trouble a few times, especially with work and, you know, things like that you can't afford to forget about. And also people's birthdays and stuff. Like, I think I forgot my dad's birthday this year. But me and my dad don't really talk anyway, so yeah, it's just one of those things. Untidiness. I am very, like, hygiene wise, I'm very clean, and I like to take care of myself, and, you know, all that kind of thing. I've never had any problems with that. It's the clutter and hoarding and, you know, like shit everywhere in my house. Like, I've got like a rail that I put clothes on, but then everything else just gets chucked on the floor. So like everything is everywhere, and even if I spend a day reorganising everything and putting things into boxes and shit like that, like I'm not an organised person at all. It doesn't help me. Like, even amongst the clutter, like somebody else like might come round to my flat and tell me, oh Anna, you know, like your flat's such a mess, I don't know how you cope. But to me, like, that mess, I know where everything is in that mess, and that's how I go about my daily life. And yeah, I would like to be more tidy so I can have more, like, I can be more like house proud and shit, but it just doesn't work like that. So I have to have like a routine of keeping things in places, in the same places, so I don't forget where they are. So my keys, I know exactly where I'm going to put my keys when I get in. If somebody moves them, or, I mean, I never put them in a different place really anyway, but if somebody moves them or uses them and puts them back in a different place or whatever, then, you know, I'll just be like completely freaked out by that. I need to know where everything is. So if people at work don't understand that, you know, I've got ADD, I need some more time to do things maybe, I might need people to go through things more than once with me so I know what I'm doing, they can get really angry with me and I can get into trouble for that, and it's just like, it's not my fault, why don't you understand? And you're just really trying your hardest to concentrate on it and do it well, and you're just getting somebody snapping back at you saying it's not good enough. Another thing is, I don't have like a hyperactivity like an ADHD. Basically, ADD is ADHD without the hyperactivity. It's very confusing. But I do get very overly passionate about things that I enjoy and things that I'm interested in, and I can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And part of this is the Asperger's, but part of it is the ADD, because, you know, I'll forget about what I need to be doing because I'm so fucking passionate about what I'm talking about. And yeah, like, I'll just lose track of things because I'm getting lost in the special interest. My brain is constantly thinking about 1,000 different things at once, and it's like a party is happening in my brain 24/7. So I think that's why I have a lot of unfinished things going off, and, you know, different things that I've started and I'm doing them all at the same time, and I forget stuff because my head is that full of different, just random shit, like just stuff that doesn't even matter, that, you know, my brain doesn't have enough memory or space in there to think about things that I need to be thinking about, which is kind of good creative wise, because, you know, I've always got a lot of ideas, I've got a very vivid imagination, always have, my imagination is probably what got me through school and childhood, because I used that as an escape, because it was so lucid and so real. Yeah, it was like a different world for me. Treatment for ADHD, ADD. I started having counselling, but and that was very recently, through the Sheffield Asperger's and Autism department. But because my life's been quite hectic recently, there's been a lot going off, I haven't had a chance to go back. I initially went there for the ADD when it was really, it was affecting everything. And it got to the point where I'd get up in the morning and I'd just not do anything, because I couldn't bring myself to do anything. And I think I've realised now that that was because I was still very depressed, and I wasn't addressing that, and I wasn't looking after myself, and I didn't have the clarity of my brain like what I've got now, because I've worked on the depression. And this has happened a few times, so I know what I'm doing. But I do believe that ADD and ADHD is worsened by depression, definitely. So now I've sorted that out, I don't feel like I need counselling. I did try Ritalin, which is similar to like Adderall and stuff like that if you're American. But I don't know if it's because I react quite badly to all drugs, really. But it just felt like I was on speed or MCAT, and I just have a big grammar MCAT just shoved up my nose, and like, that horrible panicky feeling. I lost my appetite, couldn't eat for like 2 weeks, but it didn't feel good, it didn't feel nice at all. I felt very paranoid, I didn't want to go out of the house, I felt like, people were watching me. I just felt like I was on drugs, like amphetamines, do you know what I mean? And then you'd get that come down feeling as well, you'd start feeling really depressed and a bit suicidal and that. So at that point I was like, nah, this is not for me, and it dried my eyes out. It just made me feel just generally shit. And I know that a lot of people, it has worked for a lot of people, because people react to different drugs differently, don't they? Not everybody's the same. So for you it might work, but for me, nah, I'd never take it again. The second thing I took for it was Strateria, and that was basically just like Ritalin but a bit less gnarly. So I could still like eat and drink and like kind of do things on it, but like Ritalin, it took my sense of humour away, it took my personality away, and it took the last bit of confidence I had left away. So I was literally just like I didn't want to go anywhere, I didn't want to see anybody, didn't want to do anything. It was just fucking horrible. So yeah, I've kind of just come to terms with the fact that I have got ADD, and I can kind of manage it by making sure that I don't fall into that horrible depression. And that's happened to me so many times now that I know what to do, I know the drill, and every time it happens to me I come out stronger and more knowledgeable. So hopefully next time, well, hopefully there won't be a next time, but due to the nature of Asperger's, I'm sure it will happen again. I'm going to do a different video on like how to overcome depression, because I feel like now it's happened to me so many times, and I've found, like, I don't know if you'll understand this, but when you are depressed, you just try so desperately to find a way out of it, and you will try everything. So I've literally tried everything now, and I'll just give like a rundown of everything that I think is helpful and everything that I think isn't helpful. But that's for a different video. I digress. So yeah, I mean, you know, ADD is difficult to live with, but it's not the end of the world. You can still live a relatively normal life. You know, it's not like a massive thing, but I don't think people understand how hard it is sometimes, and you know, people don't sort of give you the benefit of the doubt that much. I mean, I would never sort of blame my actions on ADD, you know, because I don't know, I just wouldn't like to be one of those people, because I feel like I can control it to an extent, and you know, I mean, I'm gonna forget stuff, and I am gonna like make mistakes, and you know, start something, finish it, and then walk off and start something else, and then get told off for it and that. But I don't purposely do it, you know, and I'm not lazy. There's so many ideas, and there's so much shit going off in my head, and I'd love to be able to just get it all out there, do you know what I mean? I've even been thinking about like trying mushrooms and stuff like that, because you know, I've been reading up on it and watching a lot of documentaries on it and stuff like that, and for some people it's like getting everything out of your brain and sort of resetting it, like, you know, like you get on your phone like a factory reset thing. It's a bit like that, so I might try that. I'm not condoning that, by the way. I'm not saying start taking drugs, and you know, but yeah, I've definitely been thinking about it. But me and drugs, historically speaking, have been an absolute fucking nightmare. So I'm not sure if I will actually do that. Maybe that's another idea for a video. I don't know. But yeah, if you have any like questions, or if you want to share your story, comment in the comment section. See you later.